Welcome to the internet.
Greetings, duelists, hobbyists, and Orica enthusiasts. Today, we are taking a deep dive into some special techniques that you guys can use to make the best Oricas you can. So let's get started. First off, join the Discord if you have any questions. We have a total of like 70 members on the Discord now. I'm going to show you guys how to do some Photoshop Orica making. One of the members that joined recently needed a tutorial specifically for Photoshop, so I have some techniques that you guys can use to make sure you get the right size with any printer. Hopefully, you'll still have to do some test prints. I would always recommend doing test prints before you put the clear paper in, just so you don't waste any. I've wasted so many sheets by not doing a test page first, so learn from my mistakes. So first off, you're going to open up Photoshop. You're going to create a new file. So the question was, how can we make sure that what we have on the paper is the size of the Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? You want to print the exact size. We can search this. So let's see. If it's Magic card, it's 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, 63 millimeters by 88 millimeters. Yu-Gi-Oh cards are smaller than standard cards. They are 59 millimeters by 86 millimeters. So go into Photoshop. You can create a portrait-oriented, millimeter-sized artboard, and then just fill the entire artboard, and that's the exact size of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So width 59, 86. All right, resolution. I like this to be pretty high. I go 600. Most printers are only 300 DPI. That's dots per inch. So this is great for cards with a long name, cards with a lot of description. Pendulum players, I'm looking at you. Whether or not your printer can output that level of quality or not is up to the hardware of the printer. But if most printers can do at least 300, which still looks pretty good. Let's create our backdrop. So if you drop it right onto your art space, it'll show up on the art space. But if you take it and you drop it into your layers panel, it will open up a whole new tab, a whole new art space, same size, but with just that image. So that was a question that someone had, why is it creating a new layer? Why does it not create a new layer? This is something that you might do that you don't notice, where if you want it on the art layer, you have it on the same art layer. And boom, that's it. Now, if you guys are looking at creating different field centers, so I would never recommend stealing people's arts. Ideally, you want to do stuff that you made. You want to do stuff original. We want to support the community. We want to be a positive influence on the community. So stealing people's art and not giving them any credit, I would not recommend, because one, only garbage people do that, and two, is that where you want to be when Jesus comes back? So now that we've got the layer on here, we drag and dropped it right from the browser, which is great. Why is it like this? Oh my gosh, it's because it's the top layer. You want to make sure your layers are well organized. Boom. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Critur? Critur Studio. Shout out to Critur Studio. Check them out. Really, really cool art. We're using it as an example piece here for educational purposes. So we have this beautiful piece of art here that it took me like 8 seconds to find. And you could take this, print it out. I'm not suggesting you should, but just as an educational example, print this out and have as your own field center to enjoy and share and flex with your friends. Very, very cool, very fun. We want to print this. How do you print this? Well, the first thing you want to do here is you want new window, and we're going to go inches. If you guys have the paper or the clear paper that I've recommended, it's going to be that size. Width 8.5, height 11 inches. We want to orientate it. All right, so let's create that. Boom. Now we have real world size piece of paper here. Have this field center, and we export it. So now in theory, we should be able to drag and drop this test and have it as a real world sized card. Now, an easy way to duplicate them is to hold Alt and click on them. You can select all of them, hold Alt to duplicate. Very, very cool. Now we can select all of them, and that is how we have them spaced out on our piece of paper. This is what it's going to look like in real life. There you go. Now, I would always recommend, guys, like I said before, I would always recommend doing a test print of 1 on a regular piece of paper, and then taking a regular Yu-Gi-Oh card, holding it over, see if it's lining up, see if it's the right size, if it's exact, if it's a little bit over, under, and then you can make a few modifications. So let me show you guys how to make some modifications here. So we brought this in as the raw size that we had it. Now, one thing you can do is click on it, do Control T, and if you want to be a little less scientific, if you just want to eyeball it just to get your printer a little closer to the right size, you can bump it up just a little bit. And then you see these numbers here up in the top left. You can even just take those numbers and just Google 1452 pixels converted into inches, converted into millimeters. And honestly, that's the easiest way. It's the quickest way to do some fine tuning to your card type. Like, yeah, honestly, some things that I do just to kind of get the card a little bit more breathing room. Go over to this cards layer, right click it, do blending options. This will bring up a cute little window where you can you have all of these great options. We want stroke. So let's say we want the black border to be a bit thicker. Go to stroke tab. We can type in something like, let's go like 12. That's pretty big. So now with a bit of a stroke, you've got a bit more of a border on the card that you can use to play around with. If you want to get the card a little bit more centered inside the card, make it a little easier. And that is how you do it. So for more Photoshop tutorials, ask some questions in the Discord. I'll try and answer as many as I can. So thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more fun content like this. And join the Discord if you have any questions. All right, guys, see you later.